And
MC, let's talk. Submission edition. We're talking about power struggles, two alphas. No, what you want to call it? Puppies? I don't know. So,
Two dominants.
two dominant partners in one relationship.
thank you. There we go. Kick it off.
Is that A, like A personality? Like A, B?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to start because I always start. So I guess how do y'all feel about it just off the bat? Just off of the, it's a general buying question.
All right. First, name which one you are. Like if you're the submissive person or you're the alpha. And then, bam. Or if you're a little
Or
bit
hybrid.
of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, ladies first.
I have learned to be submissive, so that's where I am right now.
Bam.
That's pretty quick and easy. Okay.
And then say whether you agree or not.
I agree, 100%.
Okay.
100%. But at the same time,
Her
I'm-
eyes got big when you
I'm-
said that.
I'm very dominant. She'll talk probably all day about me being dominant and controlling and all that. But I've also learned to be submissive as well. So I can be 100% submissive when needed, but I can also be dominant when needed.
You agree?
I do.
All right. I'm dominant all day. All day, all night. Manhandling.
Yeah. That should be the next video, manhandling. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I'm like, I got a smidget of submissiveness in it. It'd be like, I give up.
All right.
Got a smidget in there because I be like, it be in my mushy side when I be like, hey, yeah.
Does that
They count. They
That
count.
don't really-
Every little bit counts. Every little bit
Nah,
counts.
my G. That don't count.
Every little bit counts, I think.
I'll let you roll. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, right? And so, I be trying to let him live. See, I'm working on myself, see? So, sometimes we be power struggling it. Like, I be going one way, he be going the
I didn't get
other.
to say what I was out this joint.
I'm about to tell you, I'm telling what I
You
am.
about to tell me what I am? 'Cause that's what it felt like you was about to say. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I
you the
apologize.
same thing. He be the same thing, but he be submitting sometimes. Majority
Everybody
of the time.
got a chance to say what they were, and you telling them what I am. Do you notice that part?
We're not there yet. I thought you wanted me to. And
No. I
But
got
we,
mad.
we was talking about me. You keep interrupting
I'm
me.
sorry.
Like, didn't we have a video about that?
I'm
Wasn't
sorry.
that in the
I'm
Marriage
sorry.
Chronicles group? MC Let's Talk group edition?
I apologize.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, back to business, okay? So, so I think I'm dominant, but I'm working on the submissive part because I'm supposed to be, right? But it's a struggle for me, so that's my little test. That's not a little test, it's a big test. It's a major test for me and growth and getting where I need to be for him. And so I'm a work in progress on that. And take it away.
I don't agree
What? That I'm dominant?
with everything that you said. Just parts of what you said. I don't fully
I'm
agree.
dominant with a little bit of smidget of submissive?
Yeah, the smidget of submissive part is the part I don't agree on. Because what you feel is submissive is not really, that's just mush. It's just being mushy. It don't really count. So I just want to throw that out there. Speaking for myself, I'm dominant.
Go ahead.
I'm dominant, but it's I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm dominant only because of the fact that in prior relationships I had to be, and not only that. Again, you hear it a lot in my videos. I'm a loner, so in a loner, you're used to doing things alone for yourself. You're used to making your own moves, thinking for yourself, so forth and so So, coming into a marriage, all that's still with me or has been with me going into this marriage, and that's been like my power struggle personally for me to learn to be submissive and acknowledge even that, hey, my wife got to say in this stuff too, as opposed to just me, I guess, randomly just thinking for self and thinking for her and making decisions for us without grabbing what she may feel or think in any one topic. I think, because she can say yay or nay, I think I'm getting better with it. Something up there? You look. I think I'm getting better with it. I can't.
What do you think you're getting better with?
Being submissive. I be asking you stuff now. I do the dishes every once in a while. That don't count.
I've seen examples.
Yeah, that works.
Just while we've been here.
Like
Right.
I've been house husbanding, if that's a word.
Bingo.
Since I've been here.
Not,
That's
It-
nothing to do with
it-
submissiveness.
It does.
doesn't?
So listen. So all right. Got you.
can somebody
Good
pull
luck.
up the definition, please?
So
I
let's
got you.
say you ask him to do something. He might be in the middle of something, and then he just completely stopped doing what he's doing to take care of what you asked him to do.
That
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah, that's-
just
see, that does.
doing the dishes is
But-
not.
No, I said, well, all right, the dishes might have been a bad example.
But if she asked him to do the
I
dishes,
didn't.
But you be asking me, but you have been asking me mad stuff, and I have just, all right, I got you, babe. I got you.
I didn't say that you're working on it just like I'm working on it, but you gave me no credit. So I'm just saying.
Yesterday, we were making empanadas, right? If anybody knows how to make those, it's a little situation. Like, there's a lot involved in it, unless you're used to making them. So my
Still a
wife,
lot involved.
okay, my wife tells me, hey, babe, we should cook them together, right? Bad idea, but I say cool. So I'm in there, I'm making my empanada, she's making hers. We already made the meat, so all we got to do is stuff them, place them down, and fork them, all right? And people know what that is. So, I'm doing mine, she's doing hers, but the whole time I'm doing mine, she's now directing. No, babe, put more flour over there. No, babe, you're doing it wrong. Do it this way, do it that way. The whole time, I want to say a lot, but you know what? I said, you got it, babe. I said, all right. And I kept on doing what she asked me to do. Is that not being submissive? Tell me I'm lying.
A little bit.
A little
Let
bit,
me
yes?
tell you why.
Okay.
Okay. I got a little distracted. My brain shut off when the baby started crying.
I
But
got you.
I'm back. Everybody all
And
right?
I'll give you a definition because she said pull one up. So you want me to give it
Yes.
first?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Submissive. Ready to conform to the authority or will of others. Meekly obedient or passive. I am very passive.
boom.
Very passive.
All right.
good.
Well, per
Very
the
good.
definition, he conformed to this authority yesterday in the kitchen.
Thank you.
But he was helping me, so if he's the helper, then he should,
You
right?
said let's cook them together.
So-
Why am I a helper?
I said,
Ain't
help
that-
me cook it. Help me. Baby, you should help me.
I made the meat.
Because I didn't want to smell it.
All right, we're getting off subject. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
See, I'm just saying. It just,
I'm sorry.
it's like chain reaction of events and stuff like that, causing events.
Gotcha. I'm listening. You were saying?
I mean, yes, it was submissive, but I'm just saying, like, a little bit.
Okay.
You're working on it.
All
I
right.
agree.
I appreciate it. So I'll pose this question to the table. Are there any benefits to having two alphas
No.
in a relationship? Any at all? Just before you. Any benefits to having two dominants?
No, look at us
Relationship?
now. I mean, I'm not that we're doing.
Doing
we're-
this right from the
Yeah, I'm
gate.
sorry.
No, go
That's
ahead, go ahead.
wrong. That's not right. But like, we enter in a lot of disagreements because we both think we're right, and technically we both are right. Either way we can go, we're not going to fail, right? And so it's just one of us have to give up and be like, all right, you got it. But my thing is, I can do it. Just let me get some in return. You know what I mean? Like, if I give, can you give? Can you give me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm the same way. Like, I'm used to doing everything on my own and having things in a certain function and fashion. consistency and things working and clockwork and stuff like that, time schedules, everything. Like that's how my life functions or have functioned for years, right? I'm gonna say since I became a mom. And so over the last 9 years, I've been stuck in this: do this at this time, do this at that time,
Right.
do this at this time, and so that consistency has been successful for me. And so, you coming in and it not being as consistent as far as time, even though I know that you would evolve around that, it's still a struggle when things are outside of that, and it's like, wait, now I'm knocked off my, my
It's
ego.
changed.
Your
Yeah,
routine,
like
it's
something is
changed.
different, right? And so now readjusting may be a little difficult because I'm not sure how to wrap my head around it in the moment, but eventually I can
Right.
get there, right? So I think one with our struggle, I think that will start to diminish as soon as we're in the same household, because just like we've said on numerous occasions, I know I have said it, is that even though we have this power struggle when we're together, when you leave on Sunday or whatever, I'm back to things working in clockwork, because that's how my house stays in order, right? Our house stays in order when you're not here. You are used to your routine. You get up, you go to the gym, you do this, you do that, you do that, right? It's separate. And so when we come together, it's like we trying to figure it out, and it's like everything's all over the place.
Any benefits that y'all see?
I do. I think that having two alphas gives the other person another perspective of the same situation. You get to see your challenges, your ups, your downs in a different viewpoint, and how to work around it. You get to kind of almost like Laura was kind of saying, like, think outside the box. You kind of are forced outside of your own comfort zone, which always positions you for growth.
Okay.
So I do.
Paul?
I kind of ditto what my wife said. I think that if you do have two alphas, I think it's best to have two alphas with different strengths. Because I think that, just as she was saying, it allows you to see a different perspective. But even in y'all's case, as you're getting to the place where there is more consistency, and you see that there's that both of you are dominant, you'll probably realize, okay, he's better in this area versus me, so that piece can take a weight off of you, and I can just kind of give that to him.
Right.
So, and it's just like, it's one of those things when you start, like for us, it took us a while, and we went through a lot. Luckily we had good people around us that we were able to learn from and bounce things off of and stuff like that, and things just kind of started to gel. But it is, the whole talk of submission is it's a willful act. You have to willingly, and be consciously aware, okay, this is what, until it becomes second nature, this is what I've got to do.
I think that submission in itself is is given a bad rap, and
It's seen as weak.
it's seen as weak.
Right.
It's seen as a negative, especially by women, because 9 times out of 10, men are the ones using the Bible out of context. Women are supposed to submit to their husbands. You know what I'm saying? When that's not necessarily the whole picture. Yes, we are, but it's not the whole picture. It says submit to each other first, then wives, then it goes down into how husbands are supposed to da 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 da.
Right.
So when you think of it as not necessarily a giving up like of power, it's like a giving up, giving some of the weight away,
Right.
so you're not having to hold
everything
on.
on your
You know
own
what I'm
shoulders.
saying? It's
Balance.
right. So
I think there are perks to having two dominant members. I think it falls again somewhere within awareness as well, meaning aware of your own, excuse me, weaknesses. And I think the submission begins with you internally. You got to submit to your own ego. You got to be able to say, all right, well, you know what? I'm used to doing stuff alone. I'm used to being this way. I'm used to controlling, da 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 da. You got to be able to say, you know what? All right, well, let me take a step backwards. What does this other person that I love, that I'm with, that I married, what does she do better than me? What is she stronger at than I am? Things that she excel in or whatever. Okay, let me give this to her. Maybe she, after me giving something to her, maybe she'll relinquish something back or whatever. And then, like, I look at it as like any partnership in a business, the same exact idea. Like, let's say y'all got 50%, ownership in something. Y'all still do things better. Like, this person is better at whatever. He's the books guy. You know what I mean? He's the person that talks to all the clients. Whatever the case is, I think it's the same exact deal. So you're right. I just think it starts internally, because you actually have to have that conversation with yourself to say, all right, stop, back up. Let me see what she's good at first, and if she's better than me, I got to acknowledge to myself and say, yeah, she's better at me than that. My wife is a numbers girl.
Right.
She's better with numbers, which means internally she's better with money. You know what I mean? So I got to acknowledge that, and then, all right. I can't give you any compliment.
Shout out to all the money making people out here. Paul, raise your hand. Woo, woo, woo. Sorry, I can't open, but woo, woo, woo. Sorry.
That's why I don't give you compliments on camera, because of the dance that comes with it.
Babe, I can do the dance without the camera.
I know, but yeah. So I think there are benefits to having it. It's just being aware and being able to both coincide and come together and say, all right, well, you do this great. You get delegated to do this. I do this or whatever, and making it click like a gear. You know what I mean? If not, if both of y'all are trying to tackle the same one task, I think that's where the heads start to wear.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, well, I do this and I do it too, and no, I do it this way and I do it this way. And
all right, who could do it better?
Right, and then it's competition.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it really doesn't get done all the way, or whatever the case is, or you're wasting too much energy on that when somebody else could be doing something else because you're good enough to do it. You know what I mean? So, I think that's important to kind of realize. I will ask this: if you are dominant, how does one become submissive? And that's for the table. Like, what, for instance, Paul, you said you were dominant, and Keita, you said you used to be. What steps would a person take to relinquish that if they don't know any better? Because everybody in your shoes to have done what you did, but what advice would you give to someone to put them on that path, if any?
Let's see. See, it was for me to be submissive was somewhat of a challenge, because I grew up around seeing, my grandpa was, pretty much the dominant person, and then my grandma did, like virtually all the household stuff and everything like that. So the way I grew up was different. Like the things that I do, I very rarely, like in terms of, I can't recall seeing her ask him to do something and then he actually did it. You know what I'm saying? So it was more of actually, and I'm gonna take a step back, because this kind of helps. It helped with my my makeup and how I wanted to become a better husband. So that's how I saw my grandparents, and then I saw, what my mother went through, with my father, and how certain things that she would say, especially when you have a household where there's two kind of working, or one person is doing so much, and then the other person might not be doing a whole lot. I saw how it affected her. So one of the things that, and even still, like my grandma used to speak to me, and tell me how she would feel on certain areas. So I remember saying to myself, and I've told her this several times, like when I get older, or when I got older and had the opportunity to be a husband, that there were certain things that I was not going to allow into the relationship. So it was more so taking a step back and thinking of, all right, how is my decision, if she's asking me to do something, or if she needs help to do something, and I'm thinking, no, I'm the dominant person, she's supposed to do all of that stuff, how is that affecting her?
Right.
And then in turn, how is that going to, affect the entire relationship as a whole. You know, is our camaraderie going to be, you know, where it needs to be? Like if I'm talking to her, is she going to have, is the reason why she's giving me the cold shoulder and one word answers because there's something there.
Right.
And so I'm a results driven person. So how can I get the best results out of her?
Right. Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the path that I took, but it was motivated by grandpa's marriage, parents' marriage.
Gotcha. Keita?
So, ironically, similarly, my
Similarly.
is that correct?
Okay.
My dominant or attitude definitely was a spawn from my mom. She watches this, you know that.
Shout out to Mom Duke.
She was, in her marriage with my dad, she was the more dominant. He was submissive. Like there was no
Waves or anything.
we both play, da da da. She was dominant.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And so for me, coming into a relationship, it's like, no, you do what I say. I don't have to answer you type of situation. And so that is what caused a lot of, because he's coming from more of an old school type of background where it's like, where you going, nigga, where I'm gonna be type of situation.
Right.
So, and like I had to, number one, introspection, like really understand that it was a level of immaturity, on my behalf. And then second, that it was a lack of trust. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no reason I should be like that if I trust him to know where I'm going or to handle this situation or to whatever, take care of me and our kid at the time or whatever the case may be. So once I kind of really got myself together, like you were saying, dealing with you first, then it was easier to start, okay, here,
right.
kind of inching my way towards being able to be more vulnerable, because that's ultimately what it is.
Sure.
It's, a level of vulnerability. So, yeah.
Right.
What's the question?
I'm going to pose a different question for you. Different question. From a worldview, when people think of dominance is power. When people think of power, money is the trump card in most things. You got money, you got power. Does that play a role? Or can that be the affecting or main factor in a relationship, in a couple, when it comes to, all right, well, I make more money than you, so I'm the dominant one by default?
No.
From your view. Let's hear it.
No, that was the kind of household I grew up in. Right.
From the diaphragm.
That I have a similar experience as you, right? And so that's the kind of household that I was raised in. My mom was the breadwinner, you could say. And so for me, it was like she always handled everything. Like that's what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Like no shade to my dad, he did everything that he could whenever he could, but all I remember is my mom. I remember we used to go to work with my mom. She'd be in there, you know what I mean? We'd be under her desk, all over the place, helping her with work. She'd be at home studying. I remember when she was studying for her exam. Like, it was like, that was my ideal. It was work hard, get what you need to get done, family, everybody good, right? So I don't necessarily believe that, because, I never see my mom treat my dad any different because he may have made less at the time, and vice versa, you know what I mean? Like, because I've also seen my mom didn't work and my dad supported the household, you know what I mean? So I think it's a balance. I think it's a healthy balance that I think both parties in the marriage should somehow find the way to observe from each perspective. But I don't think it makes one better than the other. You're still equal. You still said the same vows. You still are hoping for the same result, is having a successful marriage.
Right.
And so, if anything, that will cause resentment. It will cause a lot of different negative energy that you don't want hovering over your marriage. Because if I made more money than you and I treated you as such, like, what kind of person does that make me? And then why would you want to be married to a person like that? You know what I mean? So, like, and vice versa. Because I know for sure, just off the strength of just being a human, like, I don't need you to tell me what to do just because you paying the bills in the house. Like, I'm an equal contributor in other areas.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's just, you know what I mean? Like, that's just where we are right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shoot, I could hit the lotto tomorrow. You ain't
You're
gotta
not
work.
you.
Right.
You ain't gotta work no
Right.
more, husband. You good. You good.
I think from a male's perspective, that same question, because you answered it properly. Just when it comes to men, we deal with a different level of expectations from the world. You know, as the man, you're expected to be the provider.
Mm-hmm.
You're expected to be the provider. That means you're expected to make more money. Doesn't have to be the case. I like
But your
dominance.
hand is like right there.
But when I make my point, I need to double down. That's my double down hand.
Well, double down over here on the mat.
Power struggle. Like I said, you're expected to make more money or whatever. So, you know, you run into a relationship where, you know, maybe the woman does make more money than you. And then it's not the fact that you can't be in that relationship. It's the fact that you have to now find a way to face what the expectations of the world are in regards to your relationship. Because, you know, dag, or people are going to look at me different because my wife pays all the bills, let's say, or, you know, my wife makes the most money, or I'm a stay-at-home husband, or whatever the case is. Not to say that it can't be done. I just think that, you know, men have more to fight against when that's the case.
But do you think that's a pride issue?
Some of it, yes.
I mean, because honestly, if you're looking at the world, what the world thinks of you, because if you're happy in your relationship, because outside parties shouldn't make your relationship any better or
Correct.
worse. You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
agree.
So if you're looking at the world view and how you should dictate on how you feel regarding your pride, then that's
agree.
an inner issue.
I-
That's not necessarily the other party's issue.
No, I wouldn't put that on the wife. It's not the wife's fault if she makes more money than the husband. You know what I mean? Kudos to her. I mean, it's more of just as a man, again, like the way men are brought up.
Right.
Like,
Right.
There's expectations the entire way.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're supposed to be tough. You're not supposed to cry. All these things as you come up as a man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's one of them when you come into husbandhood or man, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? So with that said, yes, it's internal. That's something that you would have to fight and face and say, you know, it doesn't matter what people think because I'm happy here.
Deprogramming.
Correct.
Right.
Because you're programmed to be the opposite. Like, that I'm supposed to make more money. What I'm going to do? I'll look crazy out
Right.
there. You know what I mean? And people might not even be saying what you're thinking, but it's literally in your head already. So, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. It's just, you know, if any male, I would say, finds themselves in that position, try to get out your own way, because you could actually be hindering something that's beautiful just because of how you were programmed to think and be growing up, and even possibly seeing your parents be, whatever the case is. I mean, just
But-
because.
I'm sorry, I have a thought before you go, because it's there, it's right there. Sorry, but that comes with also, like, if you're in a situation, and the benefit of having two dominants is, if you're in a situation where you down, and you know my wife got me, period. You won't have nothing to worry about. That stress of being, you know what I mean? Like, you at a place where you're so secure to where you know that my wife got me no matter what. I'm about to, let's say, go back to school. I'm about to try to make a better way for myself than I was before I got to this point, right? And to where you're comfortable in saying, all right, let's look at the numbers, let's evaluate the time frame, let's get a plan in order. That way we both on the same page on what each other's expectation is in that moment. And so, like, I think it's important for people, when, especially a male, to realize that you don't always have to have it all together. Because a relationship is not one person up all the time. That person has to come down. That person is it's just not normal for a person to just be up all the time, because everybody go through stuff. You know what I mean? Everybody go through stuff, whether it's mentally, physically, something stops you in your track. You know what I mean? Like, you could be going, and then all of a sudden, bam, you in the hospital. You got to sit down for 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
I
And
got something to that, but I'm gonna let
all
Paul
right, go ahead.
I think there's a but to that. And I think the but is, and I think where most men or some men don't feel as though that's, even though it might be an option, that might be an option they don't want to take because of who they're with or who they're married to. And I think it's where some women, the man may not want to take that option because of, and it might be unconscious of what his woman might say to him, and just, and how, and this is part of the, one of the other videos that you was talking about, like not what they're saying, but how they're saying it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because a man is, like I remember I was listening to Steve Harvey when his first book came out, and he was like, a man is designed to, provide, protect, and profess. So when you take one of those, P's out, now the man, this, it's like a three-legged stool. The man's now got to find, another leverage point, technically his manhood. Whereas though maybe he can't provide, maybe there's, an entrepreneurial endeavor or something like that kind of gives him life that, his woman can help him, bring to the forefront, and then eventually it brings more dollars in or whatever it is. But I think that some men may say, yeah, that's cool, but in the back of their mind, they'll probably never ever say it because, again, we're men, you know what I'm saying? We're not supposed to, feel soft or be vulnerable. And that was one of the things that her and I actually, 7 years in the marriage, where I just got to a point where I was 100% vulnerable.
Just candid.
Just let her,
Transparent.
just let her in, you know what I'm saying? And it was something that I couldn't hide, and she was able to like pinpoint it out. And I knew it was one of them things because it was one of them where it's like late night and you trying to go to sleep, she can't sleep, and you get one of these. Wake up. What? I'm trying to sleep. I gotta go to work in the morning. I go to the gym. You know that. And then, oh no, we gotta talk. And then boom, and then that's where it comes out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so some guys may not have had that conversation to the point where they let their woman know, like, look, when you say this or when you are doing this or whatever the case is, it's basically making me feel less than. You know what I mean? And it's already because you already make more money than me, and so now I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm like a subservient.
Exactly.
Or a peon.
Exactly.
And I think women, just all women, as strong as a man may appear, one of the weakest points of any man is his ego.
Right.
Egos are fragile when it comes to men. Don't let them fool you, or whatever the case is. So, just like you said, on how things just can be said to them, especially when they're down, it really can affect what goes on from that point going forward. You good?
She took a note from one of the previous videos. You gotta watch. It was another one that we did a special appearance on. Sorry.
The flip side of it is the world's perception when it comes to women, because just like men have programming, so do women. With that said, let's say your man is down. He lost his job, he's not making any money, whatever the case is, and you're footing all the bills. And you do it for a while. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, your husband becomes the house husband or whatever. Women have a different view on that too, because from another viewpoint, it could be, oh, well, your husband's a deadbeat, oh, you're doing all the bills, you're this, that, and the third, like, oh, your man don't even help out, this, that, and the third. So, I'm not even sure if that's a woman's ego thing or whatever, but I think it's important that women acknowledge that could be daggers that are going to be thrown at your marriage as well. And I'll say the same thing that my wife just said. As long as, you guys are happy and you guys
Right.
have figured it out, there may be shields that you have to put up to not even let that type of energy in, because I will say that's the type of stuff that will try to infiltrate what you guys going on.
Absolutely.
Like my wife said, I mean, it's not everybody can be. I've been in relationships where I did everything and I fell, and then the whole thing fell. You know what I mean? Like, everybody can't be strong at all times. I think it's important for you when you're choosing your mate, your wife or your husband. You know, hopefully you choose someone who's not going to look at you when you're down and say, "Oh man, but I got this." You know what I mean? I'll figure it out, or we gonna figure it out, or whatever the case is. And that's important when it comes to who you're choosing. It's not just about if the sex is good or you love them. You got to think more into, okay, what are we going to be trying to accomplish, and what we might encounter on our way to trying to accomplish it.
Right.
So I think that's important. Babe, you was jotting notes down. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So just to elaborate on what you said, I think it's important, to watch your mouth, right? When you speaking about your relationship to other people. I think that's where a lot of the issues start. Like when it comes to, especially when one is down and it's already a fragile situation, you already know pride is working its way, like trying to work its way through the door, beating down the door, watching your mouth while you out. Like, if my husband is down and I know he down, I'm not supposed to be, yo, Keita,
Right.
just this dude down, all the way down. Then you telling so-and-so, and the next thing you know, everybody know he down. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you like that, but you know what I mean? And so that was one of my points. And you know what I mean? Like, and if your acts like, you know what I mean? Like if somebody say like, yo, what your husband do or what your wife do? Well, shit, entrepreneur. You know, they dibble and dabble.
Protect the fort.
You know what I mean?
Protect the
That's
house.
that united front thing, right?
Right.
And then one of the comments that I made when you were talking was the power struggle that I think that guys have just from their role models, from the way that they grow up and what they've seen and how a man should be and stuff like that. Vulnerable is not one that is shown that a man should be, right?
Right.
And so my question would be, like, you can't be what you can't see, right? So
Memory is terrible. Terrible.
can't be what you can't see. Like, is that an issue for you? Like, you feel like you can't, not that you can't be it, but it's difficult for you to see yourself being it because you've never seen it done. Or it's a struggle for you because you don't have a male saying, hey Chris, hey Paul, I think you need to learn how to be vulnerable with your husband or your Keita, tell Gianni to go upstairs.
Reword that question.
Reword?
Yeah, because I'm not sure I get it fully.
You can't be what you didn't see. So, like, for example, if
coming
you're
up, you mean? Is it like for experiences? Like
right. I know. For your situation, it's a little different, right? Because your father wasn't really there, right? And so, for the most part, you didn't really see a father figure. So that's like kind of implying that you can't be a father because you didn't see it, right? But not in that sense. But you've seen other positive role models. You've seen other male figures. But you've seen the good, you know what I mean? You may not have seen all the bad, you know what I mean? But in a household, when you have a strong, dominant male that runs the household, gets everything done, but you never see them when they're behind the bedroom door with your wife or your mother or whatever, and they are like soft as a cookie, you know what I mean? You don't get to see that. Because a lot of men don't show it. Like, you don't see men being affectionate.
Maybe that's why my shell is the way it is. Too.
Right. You don't see men being affectionate in front of their children with their wives.
Correct. That's probably why my shell is the way it's built and designed that way, because, you know, the things that I haven't seen were men being vulnerable. So I can't relate. You know what I mean? So, and I'm saying can't relate in the sense of to a woman. I can't relate as much as, or I couldn't, because I worked on it, but I couldn't relate as much as maybe I would have been able to if I did see that type of thing. So I actually agree with you. You know, you take what you take from who you can take it from, but if you're not getting the full picture, then you can only grab what you grab, you know what I mean? And that has created that in me to where it's like, you know what, I'll figure it out. I got to be strong because I don't know anything else. You know what I mean? So
it's opposite for me though, because I've seen vulnerability, and I took it as a weakness.
Mm.
And so I have to be strong, because if I be anything other than that, it's weak. It's you can't do it. You're failing as a woman. You know what I mean?
And this is where we break the cycle for our children.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Agreed. Closing thoughts or closing advice that you may have for anybody that's down.
Connect. Make sure you keep a good circle around you, because like I have over the last 10 years built a good group in addition to my right hand, but a good group of guys that come from different walks, that we've learned from each other, and we've learned together, and we kind of helped each other with our marriages, in terms of trying to break exactly that mold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to submit. It's okay to all the things that we've kind of talked about. And so had I not had those guys in my circle, I'm sure eventually somebody would have came in and it would have gotten there. But with them, and nobody just spewing negativity at you, it came a lot quicker.
Anybody else? Closing thoughts or advice?
You got anything, Keita?
Get out your own way.
Good.
She's real good at that.
Good advice.
She's real good. Short,
The
sweet, to the
one-liners.
point. Yeah,
One-liner.
short, sweet, to the point.
Very good
I'm
advice.
not good at that yet.
It's we're long-winded, so we like to be more detailed, but very good.
She said what I wanted to say, so we good.
Yeah, that was the cherry on top. So get out your own way, people. More to come with the unit. Try to get like one or two more with a lovely couple to my left, and like
Jarvis.
the Jervies and the Jacksons, JJ.
Hey.
Like, share, comment. Truthfully Speaking is the YouTube channel. Anything else, babe?
MC Let's Talk coming to you on another day. Same clothes. No, I'm just
We'll talk to y'all later.